Hey everybody, today we're talking about how to build a seafood tower. If you want the best ever seafood tower, do what I do and come to Dominick's Steakhouse here at Scottsdale Quarter. This is one of my favorites, and probably it's been made by executive chef Clary. And one of the things about a seafood tower is I think it's a super decadent way to come enjoy like a fun happy hour if you don't want to order a whole meal or whatever. But today what we want to talk about is how you can actually bring this really fabulous, beautiful looking treat to your own house. Maybe you just want to have a seafood tower at home. So Chef John is here today to help us out. So we started out, he created this beautiful seafood tower to get us started. John, tell us what's on here.
Well, it starts right from the center. We're going to start with the Dungeness crab cocktail. All our shellfish is flown in fresh daily. We also have a live Maine chick lobster, otherwise known as a 1 pound live Maine lobster. We have our 4 to 6 count jumbo shrimp here. Then we have a jumbo stone crab claw, which is only seasonal. It's in season right now for a few more months.
So what's the season for stone crab?
It's right around September to the end of March.
Okay.
Then we have our fresh Alaskan king crab legs. And then we have, this is our Blue Point oyster, and our West Coast today is a Samish pearl oyster. We always offer 2 different kinds of oysters. So the guest has, a variety to pick from, east versus west. There are differences, some subtle, some very abrupt, versus like salinity and everything like that. So.
Awesome. Well, it's a beautiful presentation and it's always really fun. So we're going to get down to how to eat this, but I want to share with our viewers, how would you approach something like this at home? So first of all, you want to get your ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
What is the prep on some of these things? Seafood, I know, has to be handled very carefully.
Yes, shellfish has a shorter shelf life than most foods. You want to get as fresh as possible. You want to cook the live Maine lobsters, just steam them. And what we do is we just split them down the middle, clean them out, and that's how they're presented right here. We cut off the knuckle and we split that to make the meat easier to release from the shell.
Is that here? Yep.
That's the knuckle right here. This is the claw. And it should just slide right out after you prep it like that. The shrimp, you're going to just boil it. We boil it in a crab boil seasoning, and then we just de-shell it and devein it and prep it for service, and that's about all we do with that.
So in deveining, is it literally taking each individual shrimp and you take the knife and...
Yep. We de-shell it, and then you cut it open. You clean out all that nasty stuff in there, and it makes it much nicer to eat.
Yes, wonderful. And then how about the crab claws?
Crab claws, we fly those in fresh daily. They are day boated from Florida, so we have a supplier that flies it over. We get it the next day, and so they're only 24 hours out of the water, and we generally sell out of those very quickly.
Awesome. So you've been in fine steakhouses and seafood houses for a long time, but you've been with Dominick's and with Ocean 44 for about the last 3 years. How many seafood towers do you think that you have overseen or created yourself? How many have you made?
Oh my goodness, more than I could even count. I've probably several hundred.
Several hundred.
Yeah.
Okay, so you really know what you're talking about here today. So again, going through some of the ingredients, I've got a question. So now you've got this beautiful seafood tower in front of you. Let's talk to everybody about how you can enjoy it, because the most fun about a seafood tower is eating it, right? It's delicious seafood. I always call it protein with calories. That's exactly what this is, right? And so when you're with your friends, what's a good etiquette and what's the best way to eat it? So let's walk through first, how do we eat some of the seafood, and then we'll talk about some of the sauces as well.
Okay. Well, we have here a cocktail fork. This is a really easy way it's basically just got the lemon on it. And we use that to pull the meat out of the lobster, to pull it out of the crab leg. Yep, and then you can also use those oyster forks, or they're also oyster forks used to eat oyster meat. So,
got it.
Yeah.
And then what about for the crab?
The crab, you would just kind of pick away at the shell with your finger, and then use the fork to get it out as well.
Okay. And then when does the cracker get involved?
The cracker gets involved really with the claws on the live Maine lobsters, And the jumbo stone crab claws as well sometimes need a little bit more cracking.
Yep, perfect. So, you know, sometimes you go someplace and you get the crab claws where they're not so beautifully open like this. That I like it when they make it easy because I don't like all that stuff just splattering all over the place. But if you get stuck and you've got crab claws, which you may go to AJ's or something like that and bring crab claws home, or you may order them, you know, in some of those great seafood shipping companies, you're going to use the cracker for these guys to get them cracked open and kind of get rid of the shell and get them all cleaned up. So.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right, so then what's the best way to eat an oyster?
The best way to eat an oyster would probably be with our mignonette. We do a champagne mignonette here, and it's just got a little salt, pepper, shallots, and champagne.
Yeah, I always feel like it's, a little vinegary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you want to, is it a pour it on top and use the fork? Some people slide them. What's the best way to do it?
Yes, we would accompany this with a little spoon and just put a little spoonful in the oyster and then just slide it out of the shell into your mouth.
Perfect. And then all the pieces. So as you're enjoying the seafood tower, usually it comes with a bowl. So all these little pieces that you're not putting them back where everybody's eating, so you're disposing of everything as well.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of great sauces. So what tastes good with all this seafood, with all this great seafood?
Well, our creamy mustard sauce here goes very well with the lobster or the crab or the shrimp even, but we got our classic cocktail sauce as well that obviously goes great with the oysters or the shrimp. A lot of people like using it with the Dungeness crab as well. Then we also accompany all our towers with a atomic horseradish.
Atomic, it is atomic.
Very spicy. We warn our guests every time, you know, be very careful with it. It can light you up. Then we also accompany all our towers with a little clarified butter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's nice is when everybody's got their individual plates, right, you can mix some of the cocktail sauce with a little bit of the atomic horseradish.
Right.
So I always get warned, I always use too much, and then I'm crying at the table, but it is oh so good.
Yeah.
It is
definitely.
totally amazing.
I've done that.
Yep, you know what? A little dab will do you is really the whole thing.
Yeah,
so
no
then
doubt.
the last thing is, so if people are doing this at home, so if you decide, hey, this is going to be something fun I'm going to do, you know, you're at home with a couple guests and you decide you want to make a seafood tower. Ultimately, if I wanted to make this ahead and stick it in the fridge, how early could I make it? And then the other question is, once it's out, how long can it be out before it's over?
Well, you typically won't, I mean, you could probably leave it out for a good half hour or so, you know, with before it's, you know, not too good. I mean, obviously, you know, stuff in the ice is better, it's fine, but once it sits outside the ice, like the tail's sticking in the air and whatnot, that obviously the clock starts ticking on those. So a good 30 minutes when it's sitting out, and, you know, you could probably make it a good hour before.
Okay, so I can make it an hour before, I can stick it in the fridge, maybe put a little saran
Depending
on
on
top
how
of
much
it.
ice you have in there, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the best kind of ice, you guys have really good looking ice. So this is like a crystallized crushed ice is what you use?
Yes, we have a specific ice maker that does do flaked ice for us. So we have it readily available all the time. We use it in multiple different things.
Okay, so there you have it. You've got a fabulous seafood tower. If you decide that you're going to stay in and not go out to Dominick's this weekend, you can make a seafood tower at home. But just remember, once it comes out of the fridge, you've got about 30 minutes. So don't do the talking, just get eating and enjoy it and savor the amazing, incredible seafood with your friends and have a really great experience, because after 30 minutes, it's literally over. And so it's kind of fun, you know, when you think about building something like this. You know, we did a series on charcuterie boards, and everybody's wondering, how do you build a charcuterie board? Well, you just start somewhere and just start putting pieces together, and this is kind of like the charcuterie of the sea. So have fun making it, as I always say. If I can do it, so can you. And for Chef John, thank you so much for helping us out today and giving us some great information and some good inspiration to have a fun seafood tower at home.
Absolutely, my pleasure.